almost every case being the youngest person in the room, it's really hard to find maturity that you just simply haven't achieved yet. So I think for me, one of my biggest pieces of finding my voice in that room is just learning when to listen, and how to build credibility outside of the room. If you don't have the credibility going into the room, it makes everything so much harder, even when you are right. So that's been a prime area of focus for me.
I love that. And how did that lead to this warrior mindset um, that you've built that has really created, a lot of success along the way?
Honestly, I think the warrior mindset might have started much earlier in my life. Like when I look back, I grew up with a single mom, very poor. And the first part of my life, I was in the inner city. So, that's an environment specifically that can harden you or it can train you. And I'm so fortunate that I was able to take something from it. I really feel like everything you get in life you can use in some other way, and I'm lucky that that training was something I could use in my career. I'm actually currently preparing to be a mother myself, and
Congratulations. Yeah.
as I'm reflecting on the tools that, I want to impart on my daughter, I realize, you can only use the tools that you have to coach your own children.
Right.
So, my mom had to overcome a lot being a single mom. She grew up in the same environment, and I think that she really saw having children as an opportunity to train us into being warriors, with that mindset. And I don't know that that was always intentional, but I think instinctually she knew that the world was really never going to hand me anything. And so, because of that, just like battle, marketing is a challenge every day. I kind of fell into marketing, and I was very fortunate to be able to just be able to use that skill set in that way. And you have to constantly be scanning the battlefield so that you know how to develop what you need to beat your opponent. And the competition's always rising at you every single day. So, in a very, very crazy landscape of like what we have today with technology ever changing, all of those pieces, I think you've got to really stay hungry and adaptable, and growing up in a tough environment requires that of you as well. So I kind of have my mom to thank for that.
Well, I love that story, and thank you so much for sharing it with us today. Let's dive a little bit deeper into some of that warrior mindset. And you've described marketers as storm chasers. What does that metaphor mean to you?
Storm chasers, and this might be partially imparted on me in my childhood of watching the movie Twisters. That was like one of my favorite movies. I grew up in the Midwest, so I always thought they were so cool. But storm chasers are actively seeking out a severe environment. A lot of times it's a tornado or something along the lines of that. But thankfully for marketers, we aren't trying to predict real life outcomes of tornadoes. But as the primary sales and revenue drivers in business, we really do have to be watching the horizon at all times. And a lot of times we're running in when everyone's running out. So that's got to be something that you like, something that you're used to, and something that you're adaptable for if you want a career in marketing. And it's really important to anticipate those storms so you're not surprised by them. I mean, it's not always a fine science like storm chasing can be, but knowing how to move or what your first move is going to be when you see and encounter the storm, I think that makes really great marketers. And also being able to just get through it with strong instincts. Once you've seen a few storms, you can anticipate how they're going to respond. If you've been doing marketing for a while now, we've seen a couple recessions. Now we have a global pandemic under our belt, and we have a lot of tools now that we can call on in tough times. And so I kind of equate that to storm chasing because you sort of develop a model and you learn how to work that model as you go.
I love it. We've got 3 interns, that started with us yesterday, and
That's
we
awesome.
yeah, it's fun. We were all, we had a daily huddle at the end of the day, and, we were asking the question, "What did you think of day 1?" And every single one of them mentioned in a different way how fast-paced the environment was, which I don't think a lot of people realize, or if it's not fast-paced, they're probably not doing enough to really move the needle. So I love that so much. This we do find ourselves, however, chasing squirrels on time to time, and these very, very chaotic, environments that we work in.